Parsha is a beautiful Parsha. We understand how important it is to give up everything in your life. Ruchnis and Yashmis, everything to be Zoiche, to bring Atzmos Yosef to Kvura. Am Yisrael is told by Moshe, everyone's leaving Mitzrayim, go chap whatever you could, get all the gold, get all the silver, do whatever you can do. And where does Moshe go? He goes to collect Atzmos Yosef. October 7, the tragedy that Am Yisrael went through is a moment of Yetzias Mitzrayim, understanding the Sivloisam Shel Yisrael, knowing how much they went through in Mitzrayim, the trauma of being a slave for 400 years. And then someone comes and is telling them, you're going to be going out of Mitzrayim. You're going to come to Eretz Yisrael. You're going to be Zoicha to see, to live. It's hard to believe after being so many years in Golus. Living in Eretz Yisrael, hoping that getting closer and closer to the days of Mashiach. And then such a tragedy, hundreds of people, dark moments that you cannot connect and live your life and to understand what Am Yisrael is going through. Through those hard moments, it was a beautiful moment of kiruv and chizuk between Am Yisrael. My responsibility was to sign on every house, every car, and every house, to know every story, to be able to collect every drop of blood, every bone, and whatever tissue sample, to make sure it comes to Kvura. So I like to know every story. Baruch Hashem gave me a special thing that I do not remember names. It's a chesed. Because if I would know all these thousands of bodies that I dealt with, their names, I would relate to them. Baruch Hashem gave me this opportunity. Not to know, not to relate to a name, not to connect to the story. But by numbers, I know every house and every house in the kibbutzim, every house, what happened, because I had to know in a house if there was a Jew, to make sure that it's done properly. It's a guy, not to leave the blood so the family can come into the house without seeing the disaster that they went through, to put that impression on them. One of the days going through Kibbutz Be'eri, unbelievable stories over there. I'm standing in the kibbutz, my phone rings. On the other side of the line, there's a guy, a father of a family, says to me, my name is so-and-so. I said, I'm sorry, I can't help you by your name. Give me your house number. And I explained to him that I'm not trying to be rude, but I want to keep myself safe. Give me your house number, I'll try to help you whatever I could. As we know, Be'eri is not hardly Shomer Torah Mitzvahs. There is a shul there. There's no mikveh yet. But the young generation in the past few years decided to build a shul. But you hardly saw mezuzahs on the houses. And his father says to me, okay, we lived in house number 80. I say, house number 80, no one died in number 80. I know for a fact, no one died in house number 80. He says, yeah. We survived, the mezuzahs for sure survived. I say, well, what's the shaykhs? He said, please do me a favor, go over to the house. I'm telling you, the mezuzah survived. I said, listen, a person is in such pain. What this community went through such Gehenna. moments of such darkness, you have to be kind to do whatever he wants. I walk over to the house, and I put my phone on video so he can tell me where exactly to go. And I'm walking through everything is burned, everything is black, ash, burned totally, there's nothing left. He says to me, in the left corner, you see, walk towards the left corner of the house. And as I'm walking towards the left side of the house, I see there's a remain of a doorway. And I'm looking over there at the remain, and I see a Mezuzah case that was totally out of shape, and the cloth is still whole. And he says to me, okay, now go walk into there were 3 doorways, one after each other, coming to the safe room, basically. And every doorway I'm going through, there's another mezuzah. The case is all burned, and the mezuzah is still whole. 3 mezuzahs. And I open up the back door, the front door of the safe room, and it's pure white. Nothing, no ash, nothing. Like unbelievable. And I say to him, this is where you survived? He says, me, my wife, and 2 kids. We survived this. You see, the mezuzahs survived. And I was all excited. And I asked him, okay, I'm here in Be'eri, and you're in Yam HaMelech. That's where they were evacuated. What should I do with the mezuzahs? So he says to me, please do me a favor. Send it to my son. I say, okay, where's your son? He's in yeshiva in Tifrach. I say, what? Family in Be'eri. I have a bacher who learns in yeshiva in Tifrach. So, I'm all excited. Right away, I take one of the volunteers in ZAKA, has a motorcycle. I give him all the information, put it in a bag. I give him the mezuzahs, send them right to yeshiva. So I already collected the cases of the mezuzahs when I took off the mezuzah itself. So I asked him, what do you want me to do with the casing? He says, I don't know what to do with it. Do whatever you need to do with it, do with it. So I asked permission if I can take one of the cases. So I have with me one of the cases. It's always in my pocket. This is the case. And I spoke in front of the UN and the Parliament and the Congress, and it's always in my pocket. It's my school to have with me, to keep me from standing in front of the world and speaking about all these things that Nisan, some other people went through. Coming back from Chicago, I never told the story to anyone. I felt that it's personal for that family, not to discuss about it. Privacy. But the mezuzah I always had with me. Coming back from Chicago, there were no flights straight to Eretz Yisrael, so I had to stop at JFK. JFK, flight to Eretz Yisrael. Sitting in the lobby in one of the waiting corners, and some Rosh Hashiva walks over to me. Normal question: did you daven mincha? So I for sure said, I'll be happy to daven together. And daven mincha. After mincha, he walks over to me and says to me, hi, what is ZAKA doing in America? I said, I represent today's ZAKA in the world. Try to bring chizuk to Am Yisrael and to try to unite Am Yisrael. Out of polite, I asked him, so where's the Rosh Hashiva from? He says to me, I'm from Tifrach. He was sure that I don't know where Tifrach is. I was all excited and I said, Tifrach, I have a beautiful story to tell. So he's like, oh, okay, no, let's hear a story of Tifrach. And I started telling him the story. I don't tell him the name of the kibbutz. I don't give him all the information. And he says to me, stop. I said, well, stop. I didn't finish the story. He says to me, let me tell you the story from the other side. I said, what other side? I'm the story. What's the other side? He says to me, the story is in Be'eri, 3 mezuzahs, and this is the name of the family. said, well, what's going on over here? How do you know my story? He says to me, 7 years ago, a Bachur came into yeshiva, walked into the office, comes over to me, he says to me, Rosh Yeshiva, my parents are divorced, my mother and I became from, my father lives in the kibbutz, and then we had one child, and I have no shaykhs to my father. Nothing at all. And I have such an emergence in me that I have to have a connection with him. Shiva says, what's the problem? Let's go buy him a nice present. Bring it there. Nice present. We'll find a connection. Sister, my father lives in Berry. He's a wealthy man. He works in food. A big high-tech guy. Whatever I'll buy him, I'll put it aside. I'll forget it. It's not going to be something that really will connect you. So he says to him, okay, you know what? Let me sleep overnight. I'll think about something when I get. Next morning after Shachris, he walks over to the Bachur with 3 mezuzahs. Puts it in his hand, says to him, go to your father's house, put them up. One day you'll have a connection. One day. Comes to his father's house. Doesn't have any connection. Comes to him, says to him, I bought you a present. Bought you mezuzahs. Says to him, do me a favor, put them in the back. Don't put them in the front door. I want you to see. Yeah, okay, put them in the back. When the father called me up and he says, we survived, the mezuzahs for sure survived, that was his feeling and understanding, that point that the Rosh Yeshiva told him, one day you'll have a connection. I was all excited, all hyped up. Rosh Yeshiva says to me, if you mind, when we land in Eretz Yisrael, walk me out. So I said, what, are you smuggling something? Are you ZAKA with you? He said, so you know. There's a group of Bachrim that every time I come back to Eretz Yisrael, they come to greet me in the airport. So this Bachur is going to be there. Please come out with me. But one condition, don't say a word. Stand next to me and we'll see what happens. We walk together out. Bachur come, meet the Rosh Yeshiva, take the suitcases, and this Bachur comes over. I'm standing there. The Rosh Yeshiva points at me, says to him, do you know this guy? Says to him, I never met him in my life. Says to him, this is the guy that brought the mezuzah. And the Bachur starts crying, and giving me a hug. Says to me, you don't understand what you did, what a kesher I have with my father. When my father was sitting for 48 hours, locked in the safe room, knowing that his neighbors are being killed brutally, going through Gehenna and things that we cannot imagine. They came out of the safe room. The first faces that they saw were the soldiers and the ZAKA members together with them, coming through the houses to see who's alive, to try to save lives, and then dealing with the bodies right away. The weeks and days going through the kibbutzim, house by house, caring for such tachik that they feel it. The blood, you wash it off. No. You collect every drop of blood. Every house. Houses could take 18 to 19 hours a room sometimes. Depends on how much the blast was and whatever. I'm not going to get into details. But how much chesed shalem is to care for every drop of blood, to be able to start sitting shiva, to know for sure that the person died, to collect every sample, to be able to be mate agunas. That feeling that his father felt, he said, if my son is like this ZAKA guy that cares so much, if that's the ashra that my son has, I have to be in touch with him. We say, Yetzias Mitzrayim, so we have Pesach. Remember every moment of Yetzias Mitzrayim. We say in Krishna Yetzias Mitzrayim, but the moment of going out of Mitzrayim is Shabbos night in Kiddush. We say in Kiddush. The moments of Zecher V'Yetzias Mitzrayim. The moment that we are out of the Mitzrayim. Seeing the Mitzrayim laying on Sfas Hayam was the moment that we believed in HaKadosh Baruch Hu and connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, knowing that that's it. The trial is over. We're now in the hands of HaKadosh Baruch Hu 100%. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is with me every moment, every second. We had a big schus Tuesday. We signed an agreement with the sheriff account around the whole states. 3,000 sheriffs, more than 3,000 sheriffs are in charge of all the states. If Chas v'Shalom is a Jew that dies, there's a lot of politics always. This one wants to take care of it. We have the agreement, Baruch Hashem, signed that if Chas v'Shalom is any tragedy and there's a Jew, so first of all they'll be in touch. They'll have to call us right away, make sure that we can deal with the situation. But more than that, they're coming to Eretz Yisrael to go through training what it means to care for every drop of blood. Why do the Yidden do it? Now, if we explain to them how important it is, sometimes when you deal with a situation, there's a lot of questioning, a lot of things, yes, not to do, yes to do, autopsies. When you respect every drop of blood for 18 and a half weeks, collecting them under fire, under having bullets flying over your head, and people see that and understand that you're not caring for yourself. It's you would want that none of your blood should be stayed in any place or any remains. Not only that, caring for the families to come to the houses without seeing this disaster. That's the biggest chesed. You're not doing only chesed shel emes, you're doing chesed shel chaim. That's the most important part. I always say, we should know that this parsha, this Shabbos, is Seisiv Mitzrayim. We should always be able to live in our life every moment, going out of the Avdos to Chayrus. And Baruch Hu should give us only koyches to bring Mashiach now. Amen.